Hello and welcome to Josh's log for Star Trek Picard, Season 3, Episode 5, Imposter. So, huge apologies starting out. I should have got this done sooner, right after the episode aired. Obviously, the new episode's coming out tomorrow. This is a Wednesday night I'm recording this. So, you're going to get, hopefully, Episode 6 log right after it airs, or a day or so after it airs, I should say. Much sooner than this one, so big apologies. A lot to dissect in this episode of Imposters. Just don't want to confuse everyone. Imposters we're talking about. So, wow. Jack Crusher keeps me second-guessing, I guess us second-guessing of what he's capable of, what he's going through. His visions are intensifying. Is he programmed to kill, or what's the deal? He keeps having these hallucinations, which I thought in the beginning, I was like, oh shoot, he killed the whole bridge crew. Like, this can't be real, right? Please don't be real, please. And it wasn't, of course, so thank God. Basically, every time he had a vision of a possible future, I was happy that it was just a vision. Because, once he kills an innocent, you lose love for that character. I would, at least. And you just kind of repeat some of the bad patterns, I guess, set up in the first season of Picard. But that aside, very interesting to know that he's suffered this his whole life, basically. Childhood, he had these issues, and Beverly could always steer him back. And that remains in his head, her voice. Come on back, Jack. I'm paraphrasing, of course. But, so lots going on there. Thankfully, he, killed the right people, the right threat. At least let's hope. The changelings who were going to beam him off the ship. Badass scene. He's very good. I love Shaw saying, nice shooting, kid. That was really cool. But just kind of like, he's like a Jason Bourne, if you will, of this series. So, I'm really fascinating to know what the point is. Like, is he a sleeper cell agent that the changelings wanted to use in the future, or what? So, a lot more questions than answers, let's just say. USS Intrepid. Wow. Very cool when we get a brand new ship. I mean, we already have the Titan A. But it's great that they're introducing another new ship. And it's actually the Duderstadt class. I think I said that right. It's actually a tribute to Doug Drexler's late wife, Dorothy Duder. I think you say it Duder. I wanted to say Dutter. But R&B, Robert Meyer Burnett, for those who don't know, I think he called her Duder. By all accounts, a remarkable woman, and it was very sad when she passed. I don't know if people follow Doug Drexler on Facebook and so on, but that's how I knew of her. And, she basically prepped the meals that were shown on screen in Enterprise. She was known to be a great cook. And sadly, they were trying to get a cooking book made, Trek-themed, like all the recipes she used on Enterprise. But they didn't get the rights, I think, or weren't allowed by Paramount. So maybe someday that will come, to life. I hope so. I think Doug has teased some of those pages. But, she did a lot more than that. I am so happy when I read that class. I got, not teary-eyed, but it was very emotional a little bit, because, when you friend someone on Facebook and they pass, it's, it's, even though you don't know them, just how her impact was in the Trek community is something that it was very special. And, of course, being married to Doug Drexler. But this design is inspired by an old design called the USS Wasp, I believe. There's a sketch out there from 70s or 80s. This is courtesy of Trek Yards. I watched their whole analysis on this ship, and that's how I got that info. Yeah, it's a different ship than the Titan, but familiar, especially the nacelles. It's got a TNG saucer, which is cool. It's like, you know, a nice little mix there of what the Titan was going for, and kind of like Enterprise-E, maybe saucer, you could say. But yeah, when it gets damaged and it rises up and goes face off against the Titan, very cool. Special effects were handled super well. Very intimidating. And again, more questions like, is the whole crew possessed by changelings? Upper personnel? Who knows? I guess, you know, trust no one, literally, right? Worf and Raffi, they're having a little nice battle exercise. When Worf was blocking her movements, it reminded me of Anthony Hopkins from The Mask of Zorro with Antonio Banderas. I don't know if that was like, you know, an homage to that, but and I'm sure that's been done before that movie back in 98, I believe. But that was really cool. That's what it reminded me of. And Worf is so zen, but also powerful and still a warrior. He's just kind of, I don't know. They're all kind of, all his behaviors are at bay with each other, if you will. They've all found like a calm center. So that was really cool. And that relationship, you know, I think it does improve me caring more for Rafaela. I like Rafaela better, actually. I do. But yeah, they meet the Kryn Vulcan gangster, which is an interesting take on a Vulcan. I mean, we had Cybok before, right? As a villain, per se. But this is the first time I think we actually got a gangster, you know, like a, you know, criminal who is Vulcan. And I know they've tackled that before in other shows and movies, perhaps, and Vulcan culture too. I mean, they do have prisons for a reason, I guess. But this was really interesting. This Kryn, this Vulcan, was raised off-world, basically, and he was friends, or he was close with Sneed. Forgive me if I said that wrong. That's the Ferengi that Worf decapitated. But yeah, I really dug the actor, Kirk Acevedo. I probably butchered that, but his voice was really interesting, and I liked it. I really did, and I like that they didn't kill him. They can use him in the future, perhaps. See how long he makes it in the next episode, if that, you know, comes to be. But yeah, I like his line, and I'm, you know, not exactly quoting it verbatim, but yeah, he said it seemed logical to commit crime in a desolate world. I think that's what he said, something like that. But yeah, I thought that was a very interesting take, and I think it could have been handled a lot worse with previous writers, previous seasons of Picard, let's just say, or Discovery, in my opinion. If you dug those, you know, power to you. Shaw, I love how, you know, they've been through so much, right? And last episode, it seemed that, you know, things were getting better, right? You know, you hear of all the great accomplishments of the TNG crew, and Shaw just kind of brings it back down to earth, saying, you know, well, you crashed the Enterprise D saucer on a planet, you violated the Prime Directive to pursue a villager on Baku, and you nearly wiped out humanity with the time paradox in the Devron system. Very good callbacks, and of course, you know, callbacks to the movies too. So that was funny. I dug that reveal, you know, of his past with Picard and Locutus, if you will. The advanced changelings, wow. It was just awesome that they explained why the changelings are so different now. They have this blood-like material with their liquid shape. You know, it looks like fat from a grilling a hamburger or something. Off-putting, but I'm glad they explained it. They didn't need to, but they did. And, you know, it's actually good for the story, of course, too. But yeah, they still don't have any DNA, you know, from the examination Beverly did. Love that they're giving her a lot to do. You know, she's kicking ass, and then she's also kicking ass in the medical field. Kind of training this doctor the ways of her legacy, if you will. Yeah, so yeah, they can project blood-like plasma organs. And of course, that means they can fool traditional blood screenings, which sucks a little bit. But yeah, I'm enjoying this. And yeah, I think more and more the reveals of these changelings, Vatic probably is a changeling. I think a lot of people, in fact, it might actually be confirmed. Forgive me if it is, and I'm not 100% on that, but it makes a lot of sense. I'm interested to know, like, cutting off a hand, like a body part, putting in that bird bath, that it's like a link to the collective, possibly. That makes a little bit more sense, and it's very, very interesting how they came up with that crazy idea. But it works. And of course, it might not even turn out to be, but never know. Ro Lauren, holy crap. Michelle Forbes. I was so happy to see her again when they come down that corridor. Oh, I was like, oh my God, that's her. I thought she died. I thought the character died. I forgot how she departed the show. Of course, her last show on TNG was Preemptive Strike back in 1994. So that was season 7, I believe. Because TNG went off in 94. Man, I still remember that. Like it was yesterday almost. It was a big deal. Big deal. And I hope that these episodes, week by week, are a big deal to a lot of you out there. Please watch. I mean, it's good stuff. But yeah, I was glad to know that she was, I was glad to know, I was glad that I didn't know she was going to be in this episode. That would have been really shitty. And I know that I got spoiled the next day. Luckily, I watched this episode like early in the morning before people could just, put it out there on Front Street. And I feel bad for people who got spoiled. But, yeah. Great to see her back. A lot of questions, right? I love how the show gives opportunity to address only what fan fiction could do years ago. And of course, like I said before, thankfully it's this season they're doing this and not the other seasons or the other Treks. I know Lower Decks has done some good stuff and Prodigy, I believe. But still, it's hard for me to get with those entirely. But respect to those who like those shows. But yeah, season 3 is just what I've been waiting for a long, long time. Fun fact, Ro was originally going to be on DS9. Kira Nerys took her place because Michelle Forbes didn't want to commit to a series. So luckily, we got Kira out of the deal. But it would have been really cool for Ro to be in that part. Yeah, just one of those what ifs, if you will. Marvel, if you're listening. Yeah, Forbes nailed her return as Ro. She had emotion, she had conviction. It's like she never left, and it was done beautifully, I thought. Real compelling, and the writing was so great. It's like her and Picard made up, in their way. And everything said was, I think, satisfying to a fan. I would assume. Yeah, her giving him her earring that she fought so hard on TNG to wear, which was odd that she didn't have it when they first met again, and then of course that's explained. But yeah, her death was a humble goodbye. Sad, of course. There was closure. Yeah, same bomb was used on the warp engine, I believe. So they definitely went to Costco to get these bombs, the changelings. But yeah, Ro, of course, sacrificed herself. And yeah, I didn't want her to turn back, but yeah, that was a big bummer. I mean, you saw it coming, though. She gave Picard, of course, we didn't know at the time, but her earring, was basically, the keeper of all her info, her investigation, which, just everything tied beautifully together. It made sense. Like, of course, Worf and Raffi are working for her. And that's how they come into Picard and Riker's part of the story. And vice versa, of course. But yeah, again, she just delivered a gut punch of emotion, acting. Picard, the words were just beautiful, heartbreaking. But, in the end, she knew he finally saw her, right? And she gave him a fighting chance like he gave her. And it's funny because I did go back and watch Preemptive Strike, at least the ending of it, because I wanted to refresh. And Picard was so bummed when she betrayed Starfleet and left. And so I'm glad they really kept that. And they hashed it out. I thought it was nicely done. They were both challenging each other to see if they were the real person. And I think all was said that needed to be said between the two of them. And it was tragic, and obviously Picard was hurt by her death. I'm glad. It was just enough emotion, right? You wanted Picard to feel her death, not just kind of shrug it off. But yeah, her running into the Intrepid nacelle, that was... I don't know if it was the impact to the nacelle that caused the explosion, with the explosion, perhaps, or it exploded before she even got to the nacelle. I'm not sure. But then you have that incoming transmission once Riker puts the earring on the table and all these holographic images pop up. It was super cool how that reveal was done. And yeah, you just knew it was clicking. Everything was just starting to click together, right? It's like a puzzle. It's all starting to come together. And then Worf had that reunion with Picard and Riker, and it was great. It was fucking great. Fucking great. So excited. Worf! So, yeah, man, that was an episode. Just like every episode we've gotten so far. It's been great, and I'm so excited and just on the edge of my seat. Every week I'm so excited for a new episode to come. And yes, tomorrow's going to be a real treat. The Bounty, episode 6. LeVar Burton. I'm so excited to see Geordi again. And I know he has interactions with Lore from the trailer we got before the season even began. So I don't know, maybe Lore will be in this episode as well. I don't know. I don't know how that's going to be worked out. How Lore is Lore. And a lot of people think Moriarty is the AI intelligence at the Daystrom Institute. I don't know. We'll see. A lot of theories going out there. But yeah, just a great episode. Check it out. Obviously, I spoiled it, so hopefully you did check it out. It's still worth watching. And yeah, just let your voice be heard. Sign the Terry Trek petition that's out there right now. We need more Trek like his, I believe. Before I go, I'd like to say happy birthday, William Shatner. 92 years old today. Can you believe that? Captain Kirk is 92 years old. And he looks 10 years younger than Patrick Stewart. They need a switch, right? Who would have thought? It's just... I wish he could be brought back somehow, some way. I know there's been attempts, but yeah, Generation still stinks in that aspect. And you could say a lot of other aspects. I still think that film was shot probably the most beautifully out of all the TNG films. I don't know. But Captain Kirk is 92. That's incredible. What a legacy and just an icon. I was lucky to meet him, have a picture with him. He signed a poster, which maybe I'll show one of these days on another log. All my Star Trek items that are very dear to me. But yeah, I just wanted to say that in case he's listening, watching. I know you're not, Mr. Shatner, but yeah, happy birthday. Well deserved. And yeah, just thank you for all of this. all of what we get to enjoy and pass on to our kids and so on and so on. So with that said, be back next episode, episode 6, The Bounty. Live long and prosper, everyone. Take care.